time travel is confusing. Like, think about it. Time does not really exist. I was having a conversation in the sauna with some people around this as well too, so I figured I'd share this with you today because it was actually really interesting to think about this, because there's anime such as Summertime Render, Steins Gate, where they talk about time travel. And I get this thought in my mind of like, well, time is only a perception in our own heads. And if you think about it this way, if you can go to, say, Japan, and it is a different time zone than where it is where you are watching this video, unless you're watching this video in Japan right now, then it is the exact time that it is. But if anybody was to call you at this point in time, when would they be calling you? They wouldn't be calling you at their time zone. They would be calling you at the time where it is at right now. And this is why time becomes so confusing, because like time travel, if you go back in time, then it's like you change the events to the future, but then if you go in future in time, you didn't really even have to go back in time, because your time is consistent with whatever you ended up having happen, because you wouldn't have had to go back if your time was current. And this is what we do within our own minds. We create scenarios, we replay events from the past, because I'm recording this video at night, and yet you may be watching this video tomorrow or a week from now, or in the middle of the day, or first thing in the morning, or in the evening. You may be watching this video at any point in time in my future, but when you are watching the video, it is in your present time now. And it is very fascinating, because you have the ability, and this is something that I myself have done multiple times over, is I will meditate and I will think back to certain moments or visualize something happening and coming true in the future. And then what ends up happening is that thing ends up happening. And I'm like, okay, I basically just traveled to the future, and then I see like a little bit of an echo happen in the present now, but I thought about it a little bit while ago in my imagination. And it trips me out, not as much as it used to, because now I'm like accustomed to it. Like, prime example, today I was at the gym and I saw one of my buddies, and I was thinking, I was like, is he training this dude? Like, is he getting paid? And I was just having that thought, and I didn't think anything of it. I wasn't going to ask. Like, I might have asked him if I wanted to, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to ask on this one unless I have to. And then this thing happened, because I didn't want to ask him if it was a paying client. I didn't want to be like, hey, you training this dude and getting paid for it? So we didn't end up doing that, but like I ended up moving from where I was at in the gym after I was thinking this thought, when I was doing like some like cable rows, and there's a program that you can download. It's like $10, I think, or something like that, which if you want to help support the channel, you can download that, and it'll at least help you get started out with the gym. Just want to toss that out there for you. But I was at the gym and I was pulling the cable back in my certain like way of doing it, and I was thinking of this thought of like, is he training this guy? Is he getting paid for it? Didn't think anything of it. I put the weight, like the bench back that I was using. I walk over to the turf. As I walk over to the turf, I'm sitting there, I'm stretching. Two of my other friends come by, they start talking, I'm just listening, and then one of the guys is like, he says the exact thing that I saw in my imagination. So it was like I was predicting the future before it ended up happening. And this happens all the time, but he was like, hey, do you know if so-and-so is training that guy? And my friend is like, I don't know, because my friend was also friends with the other guy. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, do you know if he's getting paid? He's like, I don't know. And I was just like, that is crazy. Like, I didn't even have to do anything for that to come true. All I had to do was think about it. And this is what continually gets me thinking and gets me going, is I'm just like, I didn't have to do anything for that event to happen, and yet it was able to happen. And everybody has ever told me that you have to create this magnet, like you have to do all this work to be able to receive everything that you want. But I've come to realize and believe that you don't have to do anything. You can just do what excites you most, and then the right things and the right people and the right environments will come to you in the ways that they need to. Because I always listen to these types of talks, these types of lectures while I'm out on a walk, while I'm out in nature, just somewhere where I can like get these different ideas from somebody that's different from myself. And it resonates with me so much, because I can see you in my mind right now listening to this video, and you can do this exact same thing. The ways that you want to do this so that you can travel in time yourself. And the great part about this as well is you can change the future in any way, shape, or form that you want, along with changing the past. It's this thing called NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. It's basically a way of reprogramming your mind, because our minds are like plastic. There's a podcast a while ago with Lex Friedman and Jeff Bezos, and he talked about that, where he was saying that like our minds are plastic. And that got me thinking. I was like, oh, okay, like that's pretty neat. And then there's this other guy that you can look up as well too, called Bashar, and he was giving this analogy of like your brain is basically like you can visualize your brain in your mind, and you can like take out like your neurons and like plug them back into like different things. That I can go into a little bit more in other videos, but I just want to toss it out to you if you want to hear anything about that right now. But for you to be able to do this yourself, the way that I do this, and it has worked for me, is I will sit on the couch at night and I will feel what it would feel like if I had everything that I wanted, because everything stems from a feeling. The feeling is the way that we can travel through time, through our own minds. So whenever you travel and you have a memory, that is you traveling in time. That is you traveling back to the past or into the future. And then once you travel and you make the adjustment like you have to in your mind, then all of a sudden your future will change. So if you change the past within your mind, let's say you had a adverse event that happened. Like I talked about this in one of my other videos a little while ago, but there was a girl that used to pick on me because I would wear like colorful shirts and like just shirts with like names on it and things like that. But then I ran into this dude at the gym the other day, and he always has like these really cool like shirts on that like have like logos and like names, and they're just like fun shirts. And I'm like, okay, so I can do this as well too. So then I just have to change the idea that I tell myself that, hey, you know, just because you wear something that you got made fun of when you were a kid doesn't mean that you can't wear that now. That person was just insecure with themselves. They want to push that insecurity onto you. Or on the flip side of that coin, they liked you a lot and they were picking on you to see if you were wanting to come back and have a conversation with them. And when you change that in your past, then your future starts to change as well too. So let's say, because like the thing that I say this is because the only thing that we have is right now. So let's say that you want to change something from your past. You want to change a story, a situation, an event. Just go into your mind and don't ruminate on the bad. Think about like what it would look like and feel like if it went right. Like I'm imagining right now, it's like, okay, like this video where I'm sharing about time travel and how it's confusing and how like you can go back in time, but you can also go forward in time. And then if you had to go back in time, then you never would have had to go back in time because your present and your future time would have been perfect. But the thing is you only ever have the now. But that's why I say like when you go back in time within your own memory of whatever past it may be, you can create something new because your neuro-linguistic programming within your own mind will be able to change the scenarios. The best way that I do this, as I was saying with the meditation, is lay in bed at night or sit in a meditative pose, replay your day in the way that you wanted it to be, not in the way that it was. Even though when you do replay it in the way that you want it to be, that then becomes the way that it was. You might not see it right away. I see it right away now that I'm more aware, but like you can do this as well too, even without a higher level of awareness, because I have done this over and over and over again. And if you want to understand what I mean, like by awareness, I highly recommend you Google the personality test, the Big Five. Like if you Google Big Five Jordan Peterson online, it should be the first one that pops up. It's understandingmyself.com. You take that test and you can figure out where you rank on the Big Five to figure out how you can, like, if you have higher levels of awareness or whatever it may be that you're wanting to understand a little bit better. Highly recommend that out. But like when you go to bed tonight, what I recommend you do is replay the day in the way that you wanted it to be replayed in. The more you do this, and it doesn't just have to be relationships, it can be with work, it can be with money, it can be with funds, it can be with subscribers, it can be with comments, it can be with whatever endeavor that you have, with anime shows that you watch, with the environment that you're in, with the house that you're at, wherever it is that you are, replay the scenario in the way that you wish that it would have been done, and then watch your world around you change. Because this is you traveling forward in time. This is you traveling backwards in time and doing things differently. You can always do it as if you are an observer. Like this is what I would always do. Like I would imagine myself as if there's somebody watching me, as if it was like a third player, like a third person character, and I was like watching my person like behave, and it was a way for me to be able to detach from myself and realize that like I'm just a vessel. I'm just here just to experience, just to share this with you, so that you yourself can also go time travel, so that you yourself can also replay the events in the ways that you wanted it to, because you can go back over and over and over and over and over and over again until it is the way that you want it to be. Once it's the way that you want it to be, you can even then go back over and over and over and over again if you feel like that's the thing that you need to do. You can rechange it, you can mold it, you can shift it, you can adjust it in any way, shape, or form that you need to until you feel like like it's perfect. And even if you feel like it's perfect, you can still go back and make small little adjustments here and there, because there's always room for improvement. There's always room for you to travel forward and backwards. And your mind is what allows you to do that, because anytime that you have a memory, you are traveling back to that said time. And you could be like, no, I am staying where I am. It's like, no, you are not. You are traveling back to the past. So whenever you travel forward and you see yourself with something that you didn't have beforehand, that is you traveling to the future. You can do both, and then you'll start to see those things in your reality. Set something up, start small, start with just the day, and replay the day in the way that you wanted it to, and you'll see your life change in magnificent, most amazing, wonderful ways just by making that one small little change. And if you made it to the end of the video, because I think I'm going to wrap it up there, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment down below around you and your time traveling abilities, because I know that if I have the ability to travel through time and space, you have the ability to do the exact same thing. So thank you for watching. I do not take your attention lightly, and I do appreciate you through sticking through to the end of this video. So thank you.